Welcome back. Your first visit to Perth's new stadium is something like unwrapping a Christmas present. You don't quite know what to expect, but you know it's going to be good. Allow us to give you a guided tour of what it's like to arrive by train at the Perth Stadium station, make your way through the precinct and then up to your seat inside the new stadium. This is Ronnie Hurst. He's the WA Government's Project Director. He's been with this project since 2008. Can you believe it? Ronnie, showtime is almost upon us. How are you feeling?
Yeah, very excited, very excited. I mean, we're getting close to the finish. It's a buzz of activity as we finish off the precinct and the stadium, but looking forward to the first event, the Community Open Day on 21st of January.
All right, it's very exciting. Tell us about the station here. When people arrive, what can they expect?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a strong focus, Michael, on the fan experience. So this is about from the time you leave your front doorstep to get public transport to the stadium and then enjoy the game and back on public transport back to your home address.
All right, now how would you suggest we do this guided tour? We've just come off the train. Where do we head to first?
Well, we'll head through the arbour and then we'll head to one of the ticket control points.
Well, Ron, we arrived by train, but over here we've got a brand new bus centre.
Yep, a brand new bus station to service all the suburbs that aren't serviced by the train line. We can stack 70 buses up there. We've got a dedicated space for country coaches. And on a non-game day, we use it for parking, parallel parking.
OK, so non-game day you can park there. Yep. I see you can also bring your bicycle as well.
Yes, very importantly, pedal power. And we've got 600 bike racks around the whole precinct and park for people to come on their bikes.
Tell us about this little oval here. What's that for?
Yeah, we've created a little kids oval, if you like, so parents can come with the kids and kick a footy, play cricket, depending on whatever sport's here. And it's just a great little space to bring back childhood memories, I guess, for some parents.
Sounds fantastic. All this, and we still haven't bought our tickets yet. So let's head on over the ticket box, get those tickets and get inside.
So we've got 5 ticket control points. We had a group with people with disabilities and they told us that when they come to counters, they need to be able to get their wheelchair underneath. So ticket control points, each one has a couple of cutouts underneath so they can get right up close to the microphone and make their order for a ticket.
We've got our tickets in hand. Now we're going to go and see this magnificent stadium. Ron, it's so vast, it's so big, but it's also quite magnificent to look at. Tell us about the facade.
Yeah, the facade, Michael, was designed to reflect the geology of Western Australia. So it has these ochres and browns and light browns of the Pilbara, particularly. In the facade, there's LED ribbon lights, which helps us light up the stadium, again with team colours at night time. And there's 1.7 kilometres of LED ribbon board, so it really is quite a dramatic effect when you're coming to watch any sport here, or a concert indeed. You know, you can light it up with anything you like. So these steps, Michael, these bring us up into what we call the control zone. So you're in the stadium here. It goes all the way around 360 degrees around the stadium, and then of course you've got this magnificent view behind us of the Swan River and the city skyline.
Isn't it superb? This is a unique view for West Australians because we haven't had a chance to see this particular aspect of the city.
Yep, and obviously as you come in the stadium and you get higher, you know, it just gets better.
The outside experience has been fantastic.
Gets better as you get inside.
Can't wait.
This is the entry level to the stadium, so you're on level 1, the back of the lower bowl, and you get this view 360 degrees around this level. We put the toilets on the outside, the food and beverage on the outside, so you keep the view of the playing surface the whole time. It was something the sports fans were particularly keen to have so that you didn't miss any of the action wherever they were on level 1.
It's quite extraordinary, really, because you can literally see through. You've got an uninterrupted view right across through to the other side. If I come down these stairs here and I want to get a drink or use the toilet, I don't have far to go.
No, where you come to a stairwell within 40 metres, you must be able to access a male or female toilet or one of the 50 food and beverage outlets available on all the levels of the stadium. Great services for everyone.
And it doesn't matter where you're going to get that, you can still see the action out there. Let's go and find our seats, Ron. Oh, wow. It's such a spectacular stadium. Ron, just tell us, how many seats did we go for in the end?
Well, we've got 60,000 for oval sports, and because the front row is elevated 1.2 metres, we can bring in another 5,000 for rectangular sports, so 65,000 for rectangular sports, so soccer, rugby league, rugby union. And the performance criteria, so that we can do back-to-back games, is that you bring the seats in 12 hours and you take them out in 12 hours.
Traditional old-style stadiums, when you're down on the fence line, you're so low, you feel like you're seeing almost the curvature of the ground. Here you're upright, and the view is just absolutely spectacular.
It is. You won't miss any of the action, and also the playing surface is entirely flat as well, so you don't lose half a player over the other side, so you see every single piece of the action that you can.
Tell us about the Wi-Fi capacity here at this stadium.
Yeah, it was a very strong theme that came through our sports fan user group. They wanted the access to the data, so the stadium has been designed that 35,000 people can download live video streaming at any one time in the stadium, and we're pretty comfortable we're going to achieve that when the stadium's open next year.
Ronnie Hurst, thank you so much for this magnificent tour of this incredible stadium. Can't wait for them to bounce the ball or bowl the ball or kick off, tap off, whatever we're going to see. It's going to be superb. And for you at home, do not go away. There's so many surprises at this magnificent stadium. When we come back, something that's going to completely blow your mind. Welcome back to your first tour of Perth's new stadium. Now, we've heard a lot of the phrase fan first during the construction of this project. It's become a mantra attached to just about every decision to do with design and build. And that is the stadium goers, you and me. We have been front and centre with just about every decision in the setup of this magnificent complex. Well, the team at Perth's new stadium took that fan-first philosophy seriously. They invited Western Australians to apply to take part in one of 9 different user groups, each tasked with putting specific ideas to the design team that would make their stadium experience the best it could be. Some of the ideas are just logical, others quite brilliant in their simplicity. Then there are some that are creative, others innovative. Either way, you'll salute these very clever West Australians who came up with them.
One of the important criteria that was raised in some of our early sessions was really having a seamless experience. So you're coming in, you know where you're going, you've got the signage that's telling you where you're going. And I think that's really important for a new ground where no one knows where they're going. What we do is see in some of the grounds that we're at where they're smaller, you've got queues crossing over where people are trying to walk around the ground. So it's really important to have really wide access ways. One of the other things that we see here is that you can actually see the ground when you are in the concourse. So even if you're walking around the ground to the toilets, you can quite clearly look out and see the action on the field. I think that the first thing that a lot of the women fans like myself will really appreciate is the ratio of the ladies' toilets to men's. There's a larger ratio of ladies' toilets. I think that's fantastic. There's also requests for more family rooms rather than having the change tables for the babies just in a normal toilet or in a disabled toilet. So they're just some small things, but again, they go a long way in really improving that fan experience on the day.
I expected that our recommendations would be heard. I probably didn't expect the execution to match the recommendations as closely as they have. At each food and beverage and entry point, there's a wheelchair height entry point that we can go through, which is fantastic. There are toilets within 30 metres and food and beverage outlets within 30 metres of every wheelchair seat, which is another fantastic result. The seat rises, which is where our eye line is world class, absolute world class. I think as far as relative to previous infrastructure outlets, I don't think anything has been as well considered as the new Perth Stadium when it comes to access.
We've been dealing with, I guess, input from the state government, Brookfield Multiplex and also Cricket Australia on I guess, how we can best go about creating a facility here that's going to work for cricket, and then also bringing across the characteristics of the WACA ground and replicating them in a drop-in wicket. It's the way of the future. The beauty of this stadium is it enables footy to be played in the winter and then drop-in wickets to be put out in the summer, and you can play cricket, but you can also do concerts and have other activities out on the ground, and the flexibility of being able to shift the wickets in and out to, I guess, make sure that they're performing at their optimum when they're out in the middle.
Instantly you think about the Melbourne stadiums, the MCG, Etihad Stadium. I think Adelaide Oval is until I walked into this place, probably as good a stadium as I've been fortunate enough to play in, and I think this not only rivals it, but will probably top it once we do get the opportunity to play out here. 55, 60,000 passionate Western Australians getting around you makes the hairs on your neck stand up, and to be able to get out there, perform and hopefully entertain a crowd like that as a sports person, it doesn't get much better than that.
We've already seen just how incredible this new stadium is going to be for the artist, for the athlete. But there are so many other special places that we fans can go to really get up close and personal. Mike, tell us about this area. Tell us about the locker room experience.
Well, the locker room is going to be a very special experience, completely unique in Australian sport. It's a space, if you're lucky enough to be invited or if you want to pay the price, that you can sit inside this room and watch the players warm up, whether they be cricket players or footy players. Watch them warming up before the game, hear the sounds that they make, get excited with the players themselves, and then when they're ready to go, they'll run out through this room onto the ground and you can follow them out and stand at the boundary and watch the action close up.
Incredible. So never before seen in Australian sport.
Absolutely unique. And what's even more unique about this space is after the match, you can stand and watch the post-match interviews, which happen right in this room, in a studio that you can have access to. Literally
part of the action. There are other areas too, though, you're telling me about.
Oh, yeah. If you reckon this is special, wait to see what I've got to show you upstairs.
Well, Mike, this clearly is another premium area to watch the game. What's this called?
So, welcome to the coach's room. This is a premium hospitality room for about 100 people, because it's a great place to be entertained, but what's outside is truly special.
Wow.
This is why they call it the coach's room. We're standing here literally between both coaches' boxes. Not only will you be able to watch the coaches in action on a match day, but you'll be able to hear the action piped out of the rooms into this group of very special fans.
What a privilege to actually hear what's going on. So what moves are going to be made, who's going where and what's going to happen. How do the coaches agree to something like this?
Well, let's see what they do once things aren't going so well. But at the end of the day, this is about the fans, and the stadium has been built with a fans-first approach, and this is a great fan experience. It's completely unique in Australian sport, and I don't think I've seen it anywhere else in the world quite like this.
Yeah, it's quite extraordinary. Mike McKenna from Optus Stadium, thank you so much for just giving us a mere glimpse into what's going to come, and it's so exciting. And I'll tell you what else is very exciting. After the break, we're going to take you for a look at the facilities for the athletes. Welcome back to our special look at Perth's new stadium. I've been a sports journalist in WA for more than 35 years, and I have to say that the opening of this new stadium really is a milestone in my career, because there's so many exciting aspects. One aspect I really want to have a look at is what it's like to be a player on game day. Ronnie Hurst is going to give us a special look. Hello, Ron.
Hi, Mike.
Now, Ron, can I be a player just for one day?
Well, I think your playing days are over, Michael, but where we've arrived is where the team will come into the changing rooms and we'll head in here.
Okay, great. Wow. Whoa.
This is one of 5 changing rooms we have. It's obviously being customised for West Coast Eagles.
Identical to the Dockers?
Certainly. Accommodates 60, so they have the full squad midweek for one training session.
Okay, which is a real bonus. Tell me, the size is extraordinary and the facilities, this looks to me like it would be as good as any other stadium in the world. For instance, this is the medical room?
Yeah, we're in the medical suite straight across from the changing rooms.
Again, this is almost like a mini hospital.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the demands of elite sport are ever increasing, so we've got to make sure we have strapping facilities, physio facilities, doctors' consulting rooms, so the stadium has it all.
So this would be the same for whether it be Chelsea, whether it be the Australian cricket team, Socceroos or the Wallabies?
Yep, every sport that plays at the stadium can have access to these facilities.
All right, I'm changed, I'm strapped, I need to talk to the coach.
Follow me. So, Michael, this is one of 3 lecture theatres that we have in the stadium. This can be used for stadium tours, but its main purpose is actually to brief the teams before a game.
Kitted out with all the mod cons?
Yeah, you can see behind me the whiteboards, and there's smart boards as well. Obviously, a little bit finishing still to be done, but we're almost there.
One thing that strikes me again, Ron, the size of this.
Yeah, this accommodates 60 because the home teams have the capacity to bring their whole squad down for one training session midweek before a game at the weekend when they'll obviously cut to a playing squad.
So match day plus strategies during the week. All right, you've inspired me, Coach. I'm ready to go, but I need to warm up.
Walk this way.
All right. Why am I on the bench, by the way?
So before you get to the warm-up area, you have the water station, so any sport can fill all the water bottles quickly and efficiently. And then, this is unusual, this is one of the demands of modern elite sport. It's the charging room for the GPS that a lot of the sports now wear on the back of their jumper.
It really is a sign of the times, isn't it? Wherever the players are, whatever they do, the fans want to know, but also the club obviously grabs all the statistical information. And this is the warm-up area.
Yep, we have 3 of these areas. Only 2 are multi-purpose in terms of indoor cricket wickets. So the finish for cricket obviously is synthetic grass, and then we have the netting that can divide 2 wickets and another 2 on the opposite side. And then you come on to a rubber floor finish for sports, so that they can actually, it takes the cleats, it doesn't damage their knees, and they get a good grip.
And the players can look at themselves while they warm up, or is there more to it?
The intention is it's one-way glass, so the fans on the other side in this lounge can watch the warm-up, they can listen to the warm-up because there's microphones, and then the players heading out onto the playing surface through the lounge itself.
It's like the long room, the famous long room at Lord's, where the fans are here, they're having a drink, they're getting ready for the game, and they actually see the whole team come through here.
Yeah, it's a unique experience in Australia, and it's fantastic for the fans.
From a fan experience to a player experience, imagine the feeling of walking onto the turf of this magnificent stadium, Ron.
Yeah, Michael, we wanted to create a Colosseum effect and bring the fans as close to the action so they got a great view of the action, and I think we've achieved it.
You have, in spades. It's just magnificent. But let's fast forward things. We've come through the game. I was a late withdrawal from the team. Devastating.
These things happen.
They do. Recovery. I'm hearing that the recovery process, the facilities here are extraordinary. Can we have a look at those?
Certainly, follow me.
All right. Well, Ron, game day recovery has come a long way.
Yeah, I mean, we have 3 of these rooms in the stadium, 3 ice baths, 1.6 metres deep, and then a hot and cold spa if you want it. So yeah, recovery has come a long way. And this is some of the best facilities you'll find in a stadium in Australia.
I think the main thing is post-match, minimise that risk of inflammation things and the ice water. I remember the old days, well, not that long ago, the Eagles and the Dockers both used to use the old Solo rubbish bins. They'd clean them out, obviously, fill them with water, then fill them with bags of ice, and then the players would sort of jump in the top. But this is extraordinary. I'm sure it's going to help with their recovery enormously. Ron, thank you so much for your guided tour of the facilities for the players. It's been absolutely magnificent. And we finished game day, but after the break, I want to tell you why this stadium, every day of the year, is going to be a major attraction to the public of Western Australia. Welcome back to our special tour of Perth's new stadium. Look, I'm no architect, but I think it's an absolute masterstroke the way the design has utilised every square metre of space. I mean, for example, the Chevron Parkland there, not just on game day, but can be utilised on every single day of the year. Yes, this was a requirement of the design brief, but it's how the architects have responded to the brief that is just so clever.
And I think from a design perspective, we actually approached the stadium design from the outside. So we actually inverted a lot of the content within a traditional stadium and brought it to the outside of the stadium. So behind us, you'll actually see that we have brought the a la carte restaurants and the buffet restaurants. So it's concentrating on giving the precinct a life 365 days a year.
How good is this? How are those views? This is the Goodwood restaurant, and it is just perfect for a pre-event dinner. Or even better still, and the great news is, this is open on non-event days, so you can come and have dinner and enjoy what has to be one of the best Swan River vantage points of our magnificent city. It is just superb. Then there's the old Burswood Park Golf Course clubhouse and locker room buildings that have been turned into the Campfield. Along with a bar that can host 2,500 people, the Campfield will have its own microbrewery and a function centre. So when it comes to food and drink, I think it's pretty obvious the stadium precinct has it covered. But what about those who want to do something else, particularly the children? This is a wonderful space between the campfield and the stadium. It's a small oval, so you can have a kick of the football, a little bit of cricket, maybe even the soccer ball before an event. But the real treat for the kids, that's on the other side, between the stadium and the Swan River. Honestly, the little tackers will chew up hours exploring the Chevron Parkland. It's a fascinating combination of playgrounds and Aboriginal art that focuses on our local wildlife.
In Noongar, in the Aboriginal understanding, they have 6 seasons, not the 4 seasons that we have. So this playground through here that Chevron helped sponsor has 6 different play areas, and they start off with very young kids up to older kids. 9 Aboriginal artists come through and create wonderful artworks that tell stories and are part of the play areas.
One of the key components that we actually integrated in the stadium facade is a poem written by Kim Scott, Kaya. It's a story about the convergence and the arrival and celebration of Noongar cultures. It's a really special moment and unique to this project.
It's a stunning result that is even more impressive when you consider how the site has been used over previous generations.
The Premier at the time said that this area would be Kings Park of the East, and Kings Park was 1,000 acres set aside by wise men in pristine condition for future generations. This site had been used as a sewage treatment plant, an uncontrolled rubbish dump, a cement works, and up until the 50s in Perth, Aboriginal people used to have a passport to go into town, and they actually weren't allowed into town after 6 at night and before 6 in the morning. We said if the Premier wants this to be Kings Park of the East, we needed to mend and repair some of those mistakes of the past. That became the story that we wanted to do on this place, and I hope you'll agree that we've achieved it.
One of the things that's become obvious to us since we've been making this special is just how proud everybody is in this project, from the planning, the design, and of course the construction, and also those who had to call the shots early in the piece.
This site becomes an entry statement to Perth. It is a spectacular piece of architecture, and this site also allowed the creation of this wide parkland setting on the Swan River with Perth as a backdrop. In terms of promoting our city and Western Australia, it could not be better. Even those who criticise the site, criticise the design, criticise the cost, they've all disappeared, and everyone wants to take credit for this stadium, but it belongs to the West Australian public.
Over time, it will just become that emblematic symbol of West Australia, just like the MCG is of Melbourne, and we're really looking forward to that journey and actually being part of that with all the West Australians.
In 40 years of working on many of the major buildings in Western Australia, this is the first time everyone loves it. Everyone's positive about it. And the ownership that Pete talked about is really there. So I don't think there's anything we can do to stop it becoming an icon.
It is very spectacular to look at, and I would like to congratulate the former government on ensuring that it happened, and it does mean that we can compete with the MCG and other locations around the country in terms of attracting sporting and concert events.
Already we're seeing the bookings that are coming through. Not only the crickets, but like concerts and other events that will be there. So it will put us on the main stage. It's hard to explain for people that haven't been there how good this stadium is.
And as this extraordinary complex has sprung up out of the Burswood Peninsula, something else has surfaced. The people of Western Australia have really embraced it. There's a real sense of ownership of the new stadium.
We've had more tours around this stadium than you can possibly poke a stick at, because everybody wants to come and have a look at it because it's great. It's really terrific.
People of Perth are starting to own it and are truly proud, and actually now globally talking about it before it's even open. I think that's what I'm personally proud of.
So everything you see about the architecture of this building, from the outside, from the parklands around the outside to the roof design, makes this building uniquely WA. So when we look at the local, the national and the international market, and Perth Stadium comes up, you know where you are. You know that this is a proud element of a proud state on a global stage.
We now have a world-class facility that rivals anything around the globe, really. So I think not only for the people of Perth, but for the people of Western Australia, something that they can call their own and certainly be very proud of.
I would love to be a sports person that run onto this stadium, packed house, 60,000 people cheering. I mean, I could even hit a 6, I think.
It is a world-leading venue, and this will define Perth for many, many years to come. And let's face it, our future sporting history in football and soccer and rugby and cricket, and maybe even a World Athletics Championship, all the great sporting events ahead of us will happen here.
It's impressive. It's actually quite magnificent. It shows that in any field of endeavour, no matter what it is, West Australians can do anything.
Ahead, at least 50 years of great sporting moments. Some to celebrate, some to commiserate. Concerts to enjoy, so many great memories to share with family and friends. And it's all right here. Western Australia, this is your stadium.